This is the tutorial for 8-52. Here we see the drawing and the PowerPoint. Let's go into Onshape and create our new drawing. Labeled correctly, period number, last first, and drawing number. We'll start by drawing the front view of this shape while ignoring this portion that sticks out over here. So we know we're going to start with a rectangle that's 4.75 tall or long by 2.5 tall, and then draw a little portion here that's removed with the larger rectangle, and then we'll draw this top left side. Let's head to Onshape, create our sketch on the front view, turn off the rest of my planes, start my rectangle on the origin, so we said it was 4.75 long, oops, and 2.5 tall. We also saw that they had rectangles in the bottom corner, so I'll start with that. It had a larger rectangle, and make sure you don't snap it to the midpoint of the bottom line. So I'll draw it exaggerated on purpose. And then it had a smaller portion underneath that rectangle. We can see that the larger rectangle was 2.25 plus 0.62, and the gap underneath is 0.25, and the total rectangle is 0.5 tall. So 2.25 plus 0.62 and 0.25 plus 0.5. So this was 2.25. And if it kicks it too far over, you can just drag the portion you need to dimension past the edge. Now you can dimension it properly. From line to line, 0.62. Now from the bottom to the first rectangle was 0.25. And from that top of that rectangle to the next rectangle was 0.5. Alright, we know it's completely dimensioned because everything turned black. And we can see that this line at above the 0.5 extends all the way over towards the back. So we'll continue that line over. And then we can see the triangular shape here will start up at the top and come out 1.25 and then slope down at an angle of 60 degrees. So first we wanted to continue this line over. And then we knew we had a sloping line somewhere in this region. It started somewhere around here and ended up somewhere on this top line, but we don't know exactly where, so we'll dimension that. Alright, let's dimension where it starts. So from the left edge of our drawing to the point the line starts, we said it was 1.25. And the slope of the line was 60 degrees from this top edge, so we're going to click the top edge, the line, and drag out, and click, and then I can type in my degrees, 60. So make sure you click the top edge, since that's the reference edge that's in the drawing. So our reference edge is this flat top edge here down to the angle, which is 60. We had a 1.25 from the back left edge going forwards, and we see we have a fillet at the bottom that's a 0.5. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Sketch fillet. Angle to surface, and dimension is 0.5. And since it trimmed that line out, we'll have to just go ahead and draw it back. And if we need to, we can say those lines are all horizontal. Alright, so now we have our circle over here in the corner. And that circle we see is a diameter of 0.43, and it's 0.68 away from the edge and 0.5 down from the top. Circle, somewhere there in the middle, diameter of 0.43. From the center to the edge, we said was 0.68. And from the center of the circle to the top was 0.5. Alright, and that looks like the completed front view. So now we'll extrude the right bottom portion, this area here, backwards 2 inches. We'll extrude the bottom left portion backwards 2 inches to create this area back here with a second end position of negative 0.75 to remove the front portion. And then we'll extrude the top triangular portion a depth of 0.75 for the thickness of the part, plus 0.75 for the area removed in front to create a total of 1.5, with the second end position of negative 0.75 again to remove this front area. Extrude. Go ahead and click in the parts I want. So I said I wanted this front section backwards, depth of 2. Tab to confirm. OK to commit. And then since I want to extrude again, I need to turn the sketch on. So show sketch by clicking the eyeball. Extrude again. This time I'm going to click the back portion. And we said we were going to go backwards a depth of 2. Tab to confirm, then add a second end position of negative 0.75. Or you could have just typed in 75 and clicked the reverse button. So we get this feature, and make sure you're saying add and not saying new. Alright? So this will add this portion in the back. So I click OK. That looks appropriate. And then I do one more extrude. This time clicking the top rectangular section again going backwards, a depth of 0.75 plus 0.75 or 1.5. Tab to confirm. Oops, missed a decimal in there. Then a second end position again of negative 0.75. Tab to confirm. We can see these two surfaces will blend together and the fillet will run out into the base here. And make sure you're again saying add. And OK. And so there we have our first part of our sketch and model. Now I can turn off my sketch 1 because I don't need it anymore. Now we'll select the left back side of the sketch, or of the part over here, to create a new sketch, and then draw a rectangle on that portion that sticks out here with the hole and the filleted corner, and then we'll extrude it towards the front of our, or towards the right side front of our object, 0.62. So I'm going to spin it around, click on the left area here, and new sketch. View it from the left side. And I'm going to add my rectangle from the bottom corner here. Make sure I snap to this line. And we know it snaps front to the front this edge, so we can snap to that bottom corner, and I don't know how tall it is yet. So now I'm going to draw the circle that is somewhere inside the rectangle. And make sure when you drew the rectangle you didn't snap the top edge of the rectangle to the midpoint of this line here, otherwise that'll mess you up. Alright, let's go look at my dimensions. So we saw that the circle was a radius of 0.37. It was 1.12 up from the very bottom edge. Oh, I'm sorry, the fillet was a radius of 0.37. The circle was 1.12 up from the bottom edge, and the diameter on that circle is 0.31. So our circle diameter was 0.31. From the bottom edge to the center of our circle was 1.12. And the 0.37 radius is important because we'll drag this edge of our rectangle up, select fillet, fillet our two corners here with a 0.37 radius, and then make the circle and the radius concentric. Choose your concentric snap tool, click your radius arc for the fillet, and the center, or just click the circle, and it automatically snaps it in place, making the total height of the object 1.12 plus 0.37, and it moves the circle back off the front edge that same radius distance of 0.37, so it turned black to lock everything in place. So once everything's snapped into place, our radius is 0.37, circle's 0.31, height to the center of the circle is 1.12. Now we can extrude that. And I want to make sure I extrude a depth of 0.62. And we want to go towards the part, and we want to make sure we say add. and then tab to visualize, and OK to commit. And there we go. That looked right. Now we'll learn a new tool called the hole tool. So first we're going to create a sketch on this surface here on the top of the right side and put a point that is 1.25 from the right edge and 1 inch back from the back edge. So in Onshape, we'll create a sketch on this this top surface here. New sketch. View from the top. We're going to put a point on it. Really doesn't matter where you start the point as long as you don't snap to anything in particular. Then we dimension it from the front edge, 1.25. And dimension it from the back edge, 1. And now it puts it in the center of that face. Let's end our sketch. Now we're going to click the hole tool, choose the point, set the diameter 0.62, the counterbore diameter to 1.12, and counterbore depth to 0.25. We got all that information from this notation here. We see a diameter of 0.62. The little U shape, or sort of half rectangular shape, means it's a counterbore and it's a 1.12 depth or 1.12 diameter. And the little down arrow means it's a 0.25 depth. So in Onshape, view isometric, here's the hole tool. It is next to the shell tool, which we learned how to do in the Lego activity. So the hole tool, we're going to click that point. And the first thing is our diameter, which we said was 0.62. The counterbore diameter, which we said was 1.12. The counterbore depth, which you said was 0.25. Tab to commit, see what it looks like. By using this tool, it actually does 2 to 3 steps at the same time instead of us having to draw one circle on top, extruding it down to this level, and then drawing another circle through to extrude it all the way through. And by the fact that we said through also meant that the hole goes all the way through the object. There are some other options in there too, but we'll get to those in another drawing. So if we visualize it looks like what we want, we can click confirm. And you are now done 8-52. Remember to put a picture in your notebook of your finished object and of your sketches and explain what you learned, and then turn it in on Google Classroom.